Well, hi there. It's Monday, clinic day, 6/3/19, June the 3rd. Journal 63, T plus, um, excuse me, Journal 68, T plus 62. Today was a relatively good day with regard to the numbers. My numbers were stable. Stable is always a good thing, um, rather than dropping precipitously. And in a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, my platelets actually went up. More importantly, we got some of the results back from the molecular testing that we had done, and four of the the markers measured were just virtually 100% donor. That means that the graft is in fact taking over, which is always good. They were 99.95, they were 99.87, but they were all 99%, um, close to 100%. We haven't heard back yet on whether or not the JAK2 protein is there, the mutant protein uh, that caused the disease in the first place, but we should have a handle on that on Thursday. Um, but that's not what I want to talk to you about tonight. Tonight, something's been going on that's been going on since I was diagnosed, really. Since I started talking to our clients and the people at work, um, and pretty much everyone I know or knew um, from the time I was diagnosed. Even during the time I was having symptoms early on and didn't realize that the symptoms were related to the disease. Um, and those were pruritus, that was itching, sort of a deep itching, which I had. I had in the backs of my calves and down into my ankles, um, along the obliques, um, and part of my stomach, around the abdominal wall. Um, Certainly, that was one of the things that was going on at the time. Nobody could figure out, and there were certain other things that were going on. But for the most part, I maintained my weight. I kept exercising. I kept doing all the things that you really need to do if you're going to come through a transplant. I didn't, and I did them all not realizing that it would come in handy at some point. I kind of had a feeling that the better shape I was in physically, um, whatever was going to happen during my illness, it would help me to feel better longer. Uh, and as a result of it, I used to kid around with people when they come in the shop, or with friends of ours, and when they'd ask how I am, I would candidly tell them that I was the healthiest sick guy they knew, not realizing how true that really was, uh, until much later on, when the disease started to symptomize uh, more aggressively. And when that happened, I maintained the same mental outlook that I had before it happened. I was positive that I was going to work things out. I was positive that whatever was going to come in the way of treatment, I would be ready for it. And again, I started to lose weight, but it was so slowly over such a long period of time that people didn't realize it. And I looked, aside from being charming, um, I looked pretty good for the most part. I certainly didn't look like anybody that you would think had a chronic, untreatable terminal disease. And even even during and after the transplant, leading up to it, when I was symptomizing, and I was symptomizing, was really difficult. Um, Up until the time I started taking Jakafi, the one drug that's approved by the FDA to treat the symptoms of the disease, not do anything for the disease itself, really. Um, although they are doing research to see if it does delay the obvious and inevitable ending of the disease. But I still looked pretty good now that I've had the transplant, and in essence, really have lost about 15, 20 pounds down to the lowest weight I've been since high school, which is really insane. Um, I still try to eat, drink, walk. I still try to exercise. I still try to feel better. I still try to take care of myself, and I still have the same positive attitude that I've had throughout. Um, and that is that I've got there are too many things that I have left to do. Um, too many things on a bucket list. Um, if I ever figure out a bucket list, I don't know. Too many people that depend on me. Too many people that I like hanging out with to feel good. But people don't understand the nature of the disease, so perhaps I should really go over it. I mean, they don't understand if I look as good as I do, why it is that I have the dietary restrictions that I have, why I have to live remotely out here, why Lesley and I have to live remotely out here at close to the hospital, within 15 minutes of the hospital, and they don't realize how quickly things can go south, how quickly things can get bad um, in a hurry, despite the way I look, or in spite of the way I look, or even feel. And the simple reason is that I have no immune system. At this moment, infants are born with more of an immune system than I have right now, which means that if there's any fungus, bacteria, virus, viral infection, um, any of which you would probably fight off without even knowing that you had been exposed to it, or it was working against your body, it could bring me to my knees in a heartbeat because I have no way to fight it. And that's why I wear a mask. That's why I walk around with gloves in my pocket and often wear surgical gloves. Um, that's why I can't eat at a restaurant um, yet. I have um, 37 days, I think, left before I can eat out at a restaurant, and even then, I have to really be sure that it's immaculately clean and all the food is incredibly fresh and that the produce is washed before I can do that. And why we have to live out here, because I have to be within 15 minutes of the hospital, 15 minutes of the evaluation um, treatment center. Um, it's why I can't hang out with my grandkids because they're exposed to a cootie farm every day. They're in preschool, uh, and there are a lot of caveats because my hemoglobin level, even now when it's at the highest it's been probably in months, is still 4 points lower than the low side of normal for a male adult, and that means that oxygen is not being carried to places it needs to go. It means that you get tired, fatigued very quickly. It means you can have difficulty breathing. You can run out of breath very easily. Uh, it means all kinds of things. I have no white blood cells. My white blood cells are really lower than yours are, whoever you are, unless you're ill with something that's affecting, it's a different kind of myeloid. Uh, so it's difficult to fight off infection because my platelet count is still low, even though it's gone up by itself for three three different uh, blood draws. It's still lower than it should be, which means that my blood won't clot as quickly. So I think people mean well when they, when they ask these questions. As a matter of fact, I know because I know the people that are asking the questions. I know they mean well, um, and consequently, I think it's worthy of the time. It takes to provide at least a marginal or minimal explanation of what this is all about, and why we have to do all of these things, why we have the dietary restrictions that we have, why we can't eat um, all of the different things that everybody else can eat, why I can't eat all the different things that anybody else can't. Why? Because the mucus lining of my stomach and my intestinal tract is still repairing itself, um, and because I'm still having the intestinal problems, lower GI tract problems that I've been having. Um, I can't eat any dairy products, no no milk products at all, and there are other restrictions as well that go down the list. It's not because we choose to do that. It's not because I want to do that. It's because if I want to go ahead and beat this disease, the only way I'm going to be able to do it is if I listen to every word the doctors say, and uh, and take the small victories as they come and celebrate them. Uh, we got permission uh, for the first time today uh, to have coffee at Starbucks or Coffee Bean, other than the Starbucks or the Pete's that are here on the campus. So that means that's a big deal. I mean, it may not be a big deal to anybody else, but it's a huge deal to me, and probably a huge deal to anybody that we're going to hang out with. So, for the record, that's the reason, that even though I may look normal, and even though I'm trying really hard to feel normal and to act normal, um, it'll be a full year before uh, I can have my immunizations, and then probably the better part of another year before they'll be willing. They will, the doctors here at City of Hope, my doctor, Dr. Snyder, um, will be able to pronounce me cured if I'm lucky enough to uh, to beat this thing, and I believe I will be. Um, so until the next time, no matter how good I look, this is uh, this is still a regimen I have to keep. Uh, please understand it, and hopefully, very shortly, I'll be able to go where I want to go and do what I want to do, eat what I want to eat, and not sure if I still do it, but I'll be able to, and we can take things from there. So until then, stay well, take care, see you tomorrow.